Actually, I am going 6-0 in the division because the rest of the division sucks.
This is the best division in football, Tori.
Take that step back. We are seeing the true quarterback that he really is, which he is not a very good quarterback.
Welcome to the Man Now, where we taking over. It's time to give you them facts. Won't miss a game or two, cause we here for you and we reporting all of them stats. We coming to you live to keep you updated. Broadcast across the country, we the fan favorites. Break the volume to the max and don't nobody touch it. We crossing topics off the list, addressing every subject. So if you ain't got a clue, then you can tune in and give it 24 hours and we back again. Breaking news, new scoops, we the top dogs. From the fields to the courts, we report it all. Buzzer beaters through your speakers, we the ones to call. Trust us for the news if it's got a ball. Giving you the top stories cause we love the turf. Tell a friend to tune in and where you heard it first. Yeah, you're listening to the Man Now. We taking over, it's time to give you them stats. Yeah, you listen to the Man Now. Miss a game or two cause we reporting all of them facts. Yeah, you listen to the Man Now. We taking over, it's time to give you them facts. Turn the speakers up a little loud. Miss a game or two cause we reporting all of them stats. Because you listen to the Man Hour.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckhouse here with the Man Hour. Be sure to head over to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page and check out the blog section as well. We got great things happening over there. We got a great show for you guys lined up today. We got the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Brandon BC Combs in tonight. But first, let me give you down the rundown. We're going to take a little Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill is now a tight end. What does that mean for the rest of the league? Geno Smith named starter. Randall Cobb is still playing football. What? Deshaun Watson suspended for 8 games now, possibly. Aaron Rodgers said preseason is a complete waste of time. But first, it's time to get shocked.
MLB, they missed the boat on just about everything. Look, everybody knows I'm a baseball guy. Everybody knows I love this game, and to my core, I will be a Cubs fan till I die, even though the organization is always run like crap, right? But MLB continues to not be able to market itself correctly. Word comes down yesterday that this is going to be the last Field of Dreams game because MLB doesn't want to be a part of them, over the next couple of years because they're building a stadium near there for high school tournaments and little league tournaments and that type of stuff. And they don't want to be a part of that construction. They don't want it taking away from everything. So they're no longer going to do the Field of Dream games after this year. And this year's game is between the Cubs and the Reds, 2 teams that are battling it out for two of the worst teams in baseball, especially in their own division. But the way that MLB missed the boat on this was last year we had the White Sox versus the Yankees. Now, those were 2 really good teams, and it was a great game and ended up with a great ending, and we got what we hoped to see out of it. But they missed the boat because last year they could have had the Yankees versus the Mets, right? Had that inner city rivalry type thing going. This year they could have had the Cubs versus the White Sox. Again, 2 really underachieving teams, but at least you have that rivalry, right? Like the city rivalry. You're going to have that electric atmosphere because you're going to have Mets fans and Yankees fans, Cubs fans and White Sox fans going at it. Like it's always an electric atmosphere when those teams go together, where you get the Giants versus the Dodgers, or all those types of rivalries. But Major League Baseball doesn't think about that stuff. They don't market themselves. They miss the boat on just about everything, which again goes to tell you that the front office of Major League Baseball doesn't understand the game in which they are in charge of. And it's also why your boy, BC Brandon Combs, should be Major League Baseball's commissioner. That's all I got.
Alrighty, guys. So that is the man, the myth, the legend himself, BC Combs at @manhour_Combs on the old Twitter machine. Of course, you can follow me at @manhour_Buck as well. So BC, welcome to the show. This is your day two back. Your first Thursday show here. And normally BC on Thursdays here. We're going to do Way or No Way. But last night, Tori Anderson, the man, the myth, the legend himself, got a little long-winded. Imagine that. It must be a northern thing because Combs gets long-winded, Tori gets long-winded, and I always get cut off and get shit on. So like, it is what it is, but whatever. And Joey,
I mean, it's kind of just who you are, right?
What's that?
It's kind of just because of who you are. Like,
I mean, like
it's just easy.
You guys do not like the greatness that comes out of my mouth, which I totally understand. Joey says nothing but a black screen. I know because I don't have the. I need Beastie to make a shock news overlay. So that's your homework for tonight, Beastie, is make some overlays for us. And 1.40 is in the chat here. Haven't seen him in a little while. What's up, One Pride? He says Thibodeau has done absolutely nothing. Does that surprise you? I mean, I'm kind of like I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm being mean. Like, does that surprise you? Like, let's just be honest about it.
I mean, no.
I understand Lions fans. So 1.40, you missed the Chicago Bear biggest fan ever right there. Beastie Combs saying that the Detroit Lions are going to be Super Bowl champions in 2024 last year. Those were the words coming out of his mouth.
That's not what happened. That's Buck's prediction every year. Not mine. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. So this is not me.
What exactly did you say then, Combs? I'm kind of confused because I definitely heard Super Bowl Detroit Lions with Jared Goff.
I don't know what you heard. It might have been while you were sleeping and you were dreaming because you always dream about the Lions while you're wearing your Lions footy pajamas.
And my Speedo.
And
I love that.
Yeah. I mean, then you wonder why your wife doesn't touch you at night. I mean, that would be why. I mean,
so
nobody touches a Lions fan.
Mean,
right, One Pride?
Wow. Shots fired off the brat. So, guys, if you are new here,
just playing,
subscribing to the YouTube channel, Combs, we are officially 200 people away from 2,000 subs. 200 people away.
Hey. That, you know what, we get excited for stuff like that, but really that is for you guys right there, right? Because you guys share the content, you like the content, you comment on the content, and all of that helps us get to where we're getting to. 2,000 subscribers doesn't sound like a lot, to some people, but I can tell you right now, man, like I listen to some garbage stuff out there that has way more subscribers and way more likes. It's all a matter of getting out there and knowing, because I'm telling you right now, we come at you with fire. We come at you with facts. We don't have any political agenda. We don't have anything where we're going to come at you with some nonsense about, how people, I had a guy the other day telling me, he's not on sports radio, does some work for ESPN, and I'm arguing with them through Facebook, and he tells me that Deshaun Watson doesn't have to be guilty because people's opinions say he's guilty.
What?
So he could be completely innocent, but because people's opinion think that he's guilty means he should be suspended for longer. And I'm like, well, that's stupid. That's like me being rich and famous, being a billionaire, having everything you could ever imagine, all the happiness in the world. Me and Michelle and Aubrey living our best life in like some big mansion and having so much fun. But because somebody says, oh, I think he's kind of a dick, then that means that I'm, have the worst life in the world just because people's opinions. Yeah. It's just stupid.
Everybody's stupid, but no, I'm totally kidding.
I got Aubrey over here in the background making faces at me. So
she's like, "Stop sucking up to me! Stop!"
Look at now she's getting in the camera. Look at her. What is she trying to be on TV?
Oh
what
shit!
What are you trying to do?
Hey, she's 13. Relax.
She's 14.
She's 13. Do not put that age on me, Ricky Bobby.
Bye, guys.
I know.
Hey, Aubrey.
Come here.
Hey, I'm still going to paint my chest with your name on it at the volleyball game next year.
No.
I believe your homecoming is the week before the wedding, and I'm going to take the whole week off. So
it's okay. It's okay.
I don't know what he said.
We don't have to do that. Like it's okay.
No, I mean, I put on some weight so your full name will fit on my belly.
No, no. He said he's gonna take a full week off so that at my homecoming he's gonna paint on my name on his stomach.
Oh yeah. No, we're definitely doing that. I don't know why you told her though.
Hey.
100%. So Alpha Rob says the boys are back in town. The boys are back in town 2 days a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays starting off here. I'm still here Monday through Thursday. Tori Anderson is back as well on Wednesday with some fantasy football talk. If you guys like some fantasy football talk as well. And Joey's like, the fuck, bro? And then Michelle chimes in. What's up, Michelle? Happy fiance there. We're like a month and a half away, Combs. Shit. She said,
I know.
Aubrey would be so mad at you guys.
For all you guys in the chat, we've got, I believe, if my numbers are correct, I believe we have 51 days till the wedding now. I could be a little bit wrong about that, but 51 days. So I all you guys out there in the chat, hit me up in my inbox. I got 51 days to figure a way out of this. 51.
Hey,
just kidding. Just joking.
VIP press box tickets. That is all I'm going to say, Nana. Make him some waffles right now. And then Alpha Rob says Buck will do it. You are absolutely right. If you guys know anything about me, I have no shame whatsoever. I mean, I literally piss off my front porch into a busy street every night just because like that's what men do, right? And I wave at my neighbors like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" All right,
neighbors don't even know what you're doing because they can't see it from that far away.
Hey, I mean, I'm ginger. Like I totally totally get it. Michelle says, you are absolutely right. 51 days and you're single after that comment. Love it. All right, so guys, let's get into some sports talk here. So Combs, your team now, which is now the New Orleans Saints, they used to have a quarterback controversy with, Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston. Who is going to be that guy? And Taysom Hill was kind of like the jack of all trades, right? Well, now, Combs, he has officially been moved to tight end. He is now listed as the number one tight end for this New Orleans Saints moving forward. How big is this for the New Orleans Saints moving forward? Just because, for one, they don't have a quarter controversy anymore, and you get an athlete like Taysom Hill on the field repetitively.
Yeah, I've said before that Taysom Hill is a great gimmick guy. Like, I don't think you should pin Taysom Hill down to just one position. For one, I don't think he's big enough to be a tight end. And I just think they were running out of places to put him. I mean, you have Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, and what's the kid they drafted out of Ohio State there, Olave. And so I think they were just running out of places to put him. Is he going to beat out? They have that kid Adam Troutman as well. Are they going to be able to beat them out? As I just watched frickin' Wilson Contreras tear his foot off of his body rounding second base. That is not looking good. But anyway, sorry about that. I don't think that Taysom Hill can beat out Adam Troutman to be the starting tight end. He's a gifted athlete. He's a great gimmick guy. He's somebody who can do the things that can make plays, that can spark an offense, that can do all of that. But I don't know if he's that guy. And so I don't know if this really makes one way or the other for him. I do think that him not being a quarterback is a good thing for the New Orleans Saints. You leave that up to Jameis Winston and Andy Dalton and even Ian Book to figure out. I think Ian Book is going to be a really good quarterback that nobody sees coming here in a couple of years. I still think Jameis Winston is a top 15 quarterback in this league. But I mean, Taysom Hill to me is just again one of those gimmick guys.
Yeah, I mean, when you say a gamut guy, it is a guy that when you put on the field, he normally does good things. The reason why Taysom Hill was never a good quarterback for the New Orleans Saints is because, one, they never really gave him that shot to really push the ball down the field, Combs. It was always of like a wildcat package of like a nickel and diming kind of like when you knew he went in there, you knew he was going to probably run the ball nine times out of 10. Now to say that he is not big enough to play tight end, Combs, let me give you a little bit of stats here. He is 6'2", 230 pounds. He is a very, very thick individual. He's 230 pounds. That is
230 pounds in the NFL for a tight end is small.
Let's look up the greatest tight end of all time. Let me go
Gronk.
over to my Kansas City Chiefs. It is not Gronk. He is an ugly SOB. He's retired twice now. I'm saying that in just because of who was watching, and you know who I'm talking about, Michelle.
I know.
Michelle. But let's look up Travis Kelce. How big do you think Travis Kelce is, Combs?
Travis Kelce, I would say, is probably 6'4", probably somewhere around the 240 range.
Yeah, he is 6'5", 240 pounds. So 2 inches shorter, but right around that same weight. But Taysom Hill has a lot more agility than Travis Kelce does. When you play tight end, you are going to get matched up on linebackers that necessarily aren't as gifted as, as cornerbacks in the secondary coverage there. And this could be great for the New Orleans Saints, because now let's say Taysom Hill is the number 2 receiver. You put him as a slot tight end, kind of like a wingback setup. You now have 2 people on the field that can throw the ball accurately. Think about how much that opens that offense up, Combs. You are now going to see reverse passes. And the running game is just going to explode open, just because you always have to cover Jarvis Landry and Michael Thomas down the field, because you never know if Taysom Hill is going to catch that screen pass and chuck it down the field 30, 40 yards. This is huge for the Saints, to be honest.
Yeah, but again, that's just, how many times are you going to be able to run that play in a game? Once?
Yeah, but that is always in the back of your head, knowing that he has the ability to throw the ball. Even though that play may not be called or set up, what if they totally blow up a reverse play? What if they totally blow up a screen play? Taysom Hill has the ability just to get up and chuck the ball down the field and just throw it out of bounds. That saves you 5-6 yards, so. And you're not.
Yeah, look. It's always a benefit to have a guy on the field that can play quarterback in the NFL at least some level, right? And Taysom Hill has played quarterback in the NFL at some level. Now, he's just. You're not really afraid of Taysom Hill throwing the ball. Where you're afraid of Taysom Hill is running the ball, which to me would have made more sense to have him coming out of the backfield, making him maybe a fullback or a second halfback, running a 2 halfback set or something like that. I like for him to be a tight end. I don't. It's just a meh move for me.
It's okay. We can agree to a disagree, but I think this move is going to help Jameis Winston and possibly put him back up in the top 10 quarterback conversation by week 7, week 8 for you moving forward. But with that being said, Alpha Rob brings up a great point. Can Taysom Hill take those hits as a tight end week after week after week? And I'm going to say yes. He looks like a tough son of a bitch.
But again, he's small. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you get a linebacker like a Roquan Smith or somebody who's out there delivering hits week after week, who reads this screen pass and blows you up in the backfield, that might end his day, might end his year, might end his career. He's a smaller guy. can he take a hit? Sure. I mean, he's an NFL player. Look, any NFL player on the roster, 53-man roster, that makes it has the ability to take a hit. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on a roster in the NFL on any team. But there are those guys who just, I mean, you have to have size. This is where size matters. Size matters in the NFL when you're taking hits like that. And so I don't know. I mean, you know, even out of the backfield, I mean, you're going to take some punishing hits. A lot of the times you're running up through because for whatever reason in the NFL, we just run our running backs right into the line of scrimmage where everybody else is bunched up. But it's just one of those things. To me, Taysom Hill is a good gimmick guy, but he's just a mild threat to me. Like he's not the guy that I'm going to go in game planning my game around when I'm playing this New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, you nailed that right there on the like just on the head. I agree with that 100%. Drew says, "What about he is a last resort quarterback?" I could see that in the end, but if you look at the quarterback room that the New Orleans Saints have right now, they have Jameis Winston, Andy Dalton, and they have a second-year quarterback in Ian Book. And I think they drafted a quarterback this year, KJ Costello, I think his name is.
Yep.
So in theory, you could carry two quarterbacks on your team and then add that extra depth as a lineman, as a extra receiver, or something to that effect. But if you're down to your third, fourth string quarterback anyways, you're kind of up Six Creek anyways, right, Holmes?
Yeah, I mean, you get Costello from Mississippi State, a decent guy. I don't know what he's going to be as a quarterback yet. Wasn't very impressive, overly impressive at Mississippi State. But Mississippi State has a good program, right? So they've got somebody who can be there. Ian Book coming out of Notre Dame. I thought Ian Book coming into the draft, I thought he was a very underrated quarterback. I liked what I saw out of him at Notre Dame. I think that, again, in a couple of years, he's going to be one of those quarterbacks that's going to be vying for a starting position somewhere, even if it's not in New Orleans. And so, you know, I don't think he's going to be an emergency quarterback. I think that they're done with the, quarterback, maybe here, maybe there. And I think that ended, when they changed head coaches and when they changed regimes there, because they don't seem like a gimmicky offense anymore.
Right. So, I mean, only time will tell how Taysom Hill does in this New Orleans Saints offense. Will he be a gimmick guy, or are they simply just putting him as a tight end to fail, kind of what like the Jacksonville Jaguars did to Tim Tebow last season? Because I see Joey's there. He says his phone is about to die. So hopefully, Joey, your phone doesn't die, so you can join us back up here in a little bit. So, Combs, we have to address some of these comments before we get up here. Drew, our man Drew, being moderator over here at youtube.com/banner. He says, "Howdy, boys," and says, "It is great," all caps, having you back, Combs. Drew,
I appreciate it, Drew.
Man crush.
I appreciate it. I missed being on the show while I was on it, man. I'm not gonna lie. I love talking sports. It's a passion. It's something I enjoy. And trust me, there was a lot of times where people were talking about certain situations that were going on throughout the sports where I was like, God, I can't wait to get back on the show so I can stop, because I was yelling at the TV, like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Why doesn't anybody tell the truth about this? Or why doesn't anybody tell the truth about that? And so, I'm happy to be back. I'm glad that you guys like it when I'm on the show. I'm glad that you guys like, the points and the aspect that I bring to the show. So I'm very happy to be back, Drew. It's good to be talking with you again.
Yeah, and it's definitely nice having my friend back to where I can make him cry at least once a night. Like I'm very excited to have my friend back. I missed you, Combs. Like I kind of felt.
I thought you were talking to your cat.
Oh no, Mick Lovins. So I saw a perfect meme today. It was shared by Nana. So Nana and Tori actually. So it is a picture of a stripper and like a cat, and they say they both can sit in your lap, but the minute you touch them, you are wrong. and I was petting McLovin, and this cat looked at me, kind of gave me a wink, back claws right in my chest. I was like, you son of a bitch. Like, the evilest fucking cat ever. Man, it's terrible.
Yeah. That's Michelle's mom's cat. That cat, like dude, Deb is different. Like I love Deb to death. But this woman will break up anything on her plate and feed her. Like, have you ever seen a cat eat steak and meatloaf and French fries? And
I haven't
all
ate
that
steak, meat, or French fries in like a month. Sheesh.
Yeah, and she feeds the cat this, whatever's left over on it. It's this cat, but then the cat will come out and bite her in the ankle at night when she's trying to get in bed, or on the arm when she's laying in bed petting her. Like I wouldn't give that damn thing anything. I'd throw her out in the road.
Cats are freaking
I hate
evil.
cats.
Cats are
cats
evil.
Suck.
I mean, me and McLovin have a love-hate relationship, because it's funny when he does it to like Cindy, but it pisses me off when he does it to like me. But
yeah,
whatever. Speaking of pissing me off, Combs, Geno Smith has been named preseason opener starter for the Seattle Seahawks this week. Pete Carroll has come out and said that he has looked great at practice and he knows the offense inside and out. It would be a travesty if he would not start this first preseason game for the Seattle Seahawks. Combs, how big a deal is this that Geno Smith is starting for the Seattle Seahawks in this first preseason season game? Do you see him being starter week 1?
I mean, it's preseason. I mean, I don't who the hell else they got? They got Drew Lock,
Jacob Easton.
Yeah, Easton is a guy who might need a couple of seasons. Drew Lock, he might knock Geno Smith out of that. I mean, look, he just because he starts week 1 of the preseason, if he goes out and he goes, 3 for 7 with 2 interceptions or something like that, a typical Geno Smith outing, then he'll lose his position quickly. What it tells me with Geno Smith being named the starter is that they're not married to anybody at the quarterback position, and that's what that tells me. They're not confident in any of the guys that they have, so they're just like, why not let this guy go? He was with us last year, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt and let him go.
So you are exactly right. You basically just took the words right out of my mouth. The Seattle Seahawks are not married to a quarterback right now. Why, Combs? Because their starting quarterback week 1 is not on their roster right now. Their starting quarterback is somewhere on the East Coast right now, Combs. And this particular guy, very, very, very well. He is from your neck of the woods. He led a C team to many, many wins. He led them to the playoffs just a couple years ago. Are you picking up what I'm putting down right now, Combs?
Talking about Mitch Trubisky?
I am talking about Mr. Trubisky. Mr. Trubisky is going to be the starter for the Seattle Seahawks by week 1 if he does not get the starting job for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, he is projected to be starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I can see them wanting to clear house for Mason Rudolph or Kenny Pickett and kind of just clear out that dead weight, because Mr. Trubisky is not performing in preseason right now. It is not dead wrong, Combs. Mr. Trubisky is a damn good quarterback.
It's not dead wrong. I was with you, and I can see that scenario right up until you said Pittsburgh is making way for Pickett or Mason Rudolph. I actually think what's going to happen there is that Mason Rudolph is going to end up in San Francisco because they are going to go get Jimmy G.
Okay.
And then I can see your scenario where Mitch Trubisky ends up in Seattle.
So let me ask you this. If Jimmy G goes to Pittsburgh, is he the long-term answer for the Pittsburgh Steelers, or is he a plug and play until Kenny Pickett is ready to play? Because I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are legitimately a quarterback away. They have a damn good defense. They have a pretty good running back, a pretty good receiver core as well. You put a Jimmy G on there, they're probably going to go to the AFC Championship game.
Jimmy G is not a placeholder anywhere he goes right now. Performance this year will dictate, what he does in the future. But I can see Jimmy G eventually going down and being a backup. But right now, Jimmy G's the starter in this league. Jimmy G could be the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers for the next 3 years, and then maybe Kenny Pickett's ready, and they flip Jimmy G or something. But Jimmy G is definitely the starting quarterback if he goes to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, no doubt about it. This year, probably next year too.
Yeah.
And then hey, if he takes them to a Super Bowl, or hell, gets hot and wins the Super Bowl, and Kenny Pickett is still, performing and looking good, and he's the guy they drafted, and he's the guy they want to move forward with, you can then trade Jimmy G, or you could trade Pickett, and you can get draft picks, you can get stock, you can get, NFL ready players to come out and make a difference.
So Drew says, do not say Jimmy is going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think Drew picked up a new team in the offseason, so he's up to 13 teams that he roots for. But Jimmy G is a good quarterback. I don't understand why people consistently try to dog this guy. Like my man Jameson, he is a huge 49ers fan, and he hates Jimmy G for whatever reason, and I don't know why. Like, why do you hate the man? Like, he has done nothing but lead you to freaking championships. Like, what else do you want from the guy?
It makes a ton of sense, right? Like, it makes a ton of sense for everybody involved. The Niners don't want Jimmy G. Jimmy G doesn't want to be in San Francisco anymore. Pittsburgh knows that they can't go with Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky is a guy who, like I said the other day, could be a backup in this league for 10 to 12 years, because he could be a viable backup, a guy who could win you a couple games when your quarterback goes down. So you send Mitch Trubisky or Mason Rudolph over to San Francisco to be a backup for Trey Lance. Trey Lance and Mitch Trubisky are capable of running the same type of offense. They both got wheels. They both can throw the ball. The problem with Mr. Trubisky is when he throws the ball, he throws it to the defenders. So I could see that scenario. I do see, and I've said this for weeks now, that I can see Jimmy G ending up in Pittsburgh, because they're not happy with what they're seeing from Mitch in the preseason either.
Yeah. I believe at one point I heard Jimmy G getting rumored to go to the Steelers before. I think it was the draft before they drafted Kenny Pickett, but I could be mistaken on that 100%. And Drew says you cannot put a cream puff quarterback on a roughneck team.
Jimmy G is not a cream puff quarterback. Jimmy G has gotten a really raw deal in San Francisco. When they've been healthy, Jimmy G has led this team to the playoffs. When they've been healthy, Jimmy G has put up numbers. They've succeeded under Jimmy G. When they've been healthy, they've dealt with a lot of injuries in San Francisco over the last couple of years. I mean, a lot. What was it? 2020, it was like they had like 50-something injuries.
Yep.
They've only got a 53-man roster. They have 50 guys injured.
Yeah.
It was insane how many injuries they were dealing with. Last year they dealt with some key injuries at the wrong time. Remember, I believe they started out, they were like 7-1 or 8-1 or something like that. Like, this team, people forget this team was in the Super Bowl 3 years ago.
Yep.
So, look, Jimmy G is a very viable, very underrated quarterback.
Yeah, and then also on the flip side of that, Drew says Jimmy is a good quarterback, not a argument, but he is too fragile to be on the Steelers. Let me ask you this question, Drew. Did the San Francisco 49ers have a offensive line to protect Jimmy G? That question is absolutely not. That is why he was consistently hurt, because he was getting his ass beat play after play after play. When Jimmy G is healthy, and I say when, because Drew says when is he healthy, every time he is healthy and plays the full 17-game season, he leads the 49ers not only to the playoffs, Combs, he leads them to the NFC Championship game. Like, he goes there year after year after year. You guys fail to understand, in the last 3 years, 2 of those years, they went to the NFC Championship game. They went to the Super Bowl their first time, and they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs because the coach shit the bed. Last year, they ran into a damn good Rams team that bought themselves a Super Bowl. Like, 49er fans, like, what else do you want from Jimmy G? Like, that is my question. Like,
yeah, he's gotten a real raw deal, and it's not even the fan base. It's not the fan base that's down on him. It is Kyle Shanahan that was down on him. So then they start using. Then they start because of the way that they're using them. They start using them, so they're not putting them in a position to succeed, and that's all fans see. Like, fans aren't out there. The normal fan, right? There's fans like us who can look at a team and see logic and see, the business side of the game and see what's going on, where they're at, right? Like, I felt like Mitch Trubisky didn't get a chance to succeed in Chicago, just like I felt like Justin Fields didn't have a chance to succeed last year. They were put in bad positions by the leadership, and it's the same thing in San Francisco. They haven't put him in a position to succeed, but he still succeeded. And then when they were hurt, yes, he was getting hurt too, but it's because he had no weapons and he was running for his life. Like, that's why he was hurt. It put him on the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are a legit threat in the AFC this year.
I would go as far to say that they are the threat in the AFC, just because we've seen the Buffalo Bills kind of take a step back during this training camp. They are almost too hungry to go play here. So before we jump into the next couple comments here, Drew, or Combs, before we move on to the next comment, let's jump into this couple of these comments. Drew says, Shanahan makes my skin crawl. Why? Because he led your team to the Super Bowl twice in 3 years?
Is that Drew's team? What is Drew's team?
Any team that isn't the Cowboys, the Vikings, and I think maybe the Giants. I don't know.
And the Raiders. I think he hates the Raiders too.
Raiders. Joey said, I got my pizza. What kind of pizza did you get, Joey? I had Texas Roadhouse tonight. That was pretty good.
What I had? I had Michelle made some delicious meal in the crock pot. It was like an Olive Garden recipe too.
There we go.
And man, it was so damn good. Like, I told her I came home, right? I came home. Michelle had cookies in the oven. She made dinner, and then I was sitting on the couch and she brought out my plate. I stood up. I said, "What do you want?" There's just what is going on here? But no, that's what I have for that. But yeah, I'm interested to know what kind of pizza. Yeah, I love pizza.
Well, I can tell you what's going on, Combs, because 51 days, this will never happen again. She's getting her brownie points mixed up.
She's just like, hey, look, for the next 51 days, it's just know what's happening after.
Yeah, Joey says regular pepperoni from Domino's. Regular pepperoni from Domino's with garlic dipping sauce for your crust. Fire. 100% fire.
Any pizza from Domino's with the garlic dipping crust is phenomenal. But if you take that garlic dipping sauce out of it, it's the worst pizza you'll ever have in your life. it's so bad.
It's not terrible.
So bad. Oh, well, I guess it's better than Little Caesars.
Whoa. You shut your horse mouth there.
What? Little Caesars is
$5
terrible.
I've ever spent in my life.
Terrible.
Every Friday, Combs, terrible. I buy 2 pizzas from Little Caesars and destroy that bitch.
You know what? You're coming to Chicago in about a month and a half. I'm gonna introduce you to what real pizza is.
Talk about overrated pizza, Chicago deep dish. That's overrated pizza.
The night of the rehearsal, we're gonna go have some good pizza.
You want to talk about shots fired? Joey says anything in a crock box sucks. Ooh.
You better, dude. Michelle will fight you. She ain't scared. Michelle will fight you.
Yeah.
I ain't even gotta have her back. She'll take care of herself.
me and Joey are on the same page here. He says this guy needs to shut his little mouth about Little Caesars. Exactly right. Exactly right. Little Caesars is fucking fire.
You guys, I once told Michelle's dad said how are you? How's it going? Things going with my baby girl? Are you treating her right? And I said, sir, your baby girl has anger issues and throws hands like an inmate. Things are just fine. Things are just fine.
Things are just fine. And Michelle chimes in with a bunch of face emoji with the nauseated face. I think she's talking about pizza.
We had Little Caesars at our nephew's birthday party last weekend.
Yep.
And I had the dipping sauce with it, the garlic dipping sauce with the pizza. And I ate half of a slice because I just couldn't do it anymore. It was so bad. It was so bad.
Have you had their breadsticks? Phenomenal.
The breadsticks are good. I do like the breadsticks at Little Caesars.
Phenomenal.
But that's about it. Domino's I can do because Domino's I like their pasta bowls and I like their wings. The garlic parmesan wings from Domino's are the best wings I've ever had in my life.
It's all good. Drew says the screen froze. It must be the Omaha Wi-Fi connection up there. We're talking about pizza now. But speaking of pizza, Doug Peterson, Mr. New Coach himself for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Combsy, says that he plans on playing all of his starters Friday versus the Cleveland Browns in the first preseason game of the season. That includes Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne. Mm-hmm. Is this big news, no news, or are they just throwing some fluff out there?
I think you're going to see a lot more of that in the NFL to come, right? Because correct me, they knocked down the amount of games they play in the preseason.
I think there's still 3 games. But
but it used to be 4.
Right.
Used to be 4. And I think you're going to see it a lot more, especially on teams that have young players or new offenses or anything. Like I would not be surprised to see when the Bears play Kansas City this weekend. Actually, when the Bears play Kansas City on Saturday night, I wouldn't be surprised to see the first team out there for the first half. I think that you're going to see Justin Fields. I think you're going to see David Montgomery. I think you're going to see the starting roster of the Chicago Bears out there against Kansas City Chiefs. And so I think you're going to start seeing that a lot more. It's the new NFL. They don't hit each other in practice. They don't hit each other during workouts or OTAs or anything like that. So this is now going to be the only time to get that work in. And I know, we've got, the clown over there making $50 million a year in Green Bay saying, it's overrated and it does nothing. I kind of agree with him for a guy who's been around so long, but for young offenses and for offenses that have new coordinators and all that stuff, I think it's absolutely peril that they're out there for a little bit of time. It may be the first half of all 3 games.
Yes. So when we think of preseason, we normally think of, rookie head coaches coming in, putting in new offices, like everything that Combs just said. Combs, correct me if I'm wrong. The Jacksonville Jaguars have been the worst NFL team the last 2 seasons.
They've been the worst team in the NFL for a long time.
Yeah. So your starters can probably play all preseason and still might lose those games. Travis Etienne did not play any of his rookie year at all. He needs to get those reps. He needs to get those game speed reps. Trevor Lawrence, Mr. Bust himself, needs to get those reps, needs to fix those mistakes. And the only way that like Doug Peterson and that coaching staff can fix those game speed mistakes is to play in a game speed. So this is why they're playing in this game, the first quarter, first half, three quarters, whatever it is, because Trevor Lawrence made mistakes last year that are very correctable mistakes. I sat here and I said it time and time again. He will be a bust of a quarterback if Urban Meyer is his coach, because I don't think Urban Meyer is a very good NFL coach. He cannot manage those egos quite too well. Hence, him kicking the kicker and having sex with strippers and all that crap. He just can't handle the pressure and the ego of the NFL. Doug Peterson, yes, I know he was fired as the Philadelphia Eagles head coach, but he is a good NFL head coach, Combs. For whatever reason, he has that connection with the players, and he is going to get the best out of Trevor Lawrence this season. It starts with preseason game week 1 on Friday night.
Yeah, and I don't again, I have no problems with this. What's going to happen is if and when somebody gets hurt, during one of these preseason games playing this way, they're going, why was he playing? Blah, 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 blah. You can't manage out of fear.
Yeah.
Injuries are a part of the game. And if they get hurt, if they get injured, during this, it's not because they were, because they were playing in a preseason game. It's because they were in a situation where unfortunately they got injured. These are athletes that have the utmost, training and conditioning than any of us will ever get because of all of the stuff that they have access to, so it's not going to be because they're playing in the preseason. It's, does it suck that they got hurt in the preseason? Sure. But it would suck just as much if they got hurt week 1.
How about this? Is it worse to get hurt in an actual preseason game or in training camp? Because we see players getting hurt in training camp that are out for the whole year. Do you guys realize that there are more so during the training camp atmosphere, right? Usually a team goes to said location a week before and they scrimmage 3 or 4 times before the actual preseason game. So it may not be on TV. It may not be televised, but Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne and Christian Kirk and like all the boys, ones and ones are playing against each other before they actually get to the preseason game.
Look at N'Keal Harry got injured on the first play of training camp on Saturday and just had to have surgery on his ankle.
Yeah, and he'll be out for they said undetermined time,
months.
But he'll be out for the whole year. I'll like 100%. Same thing with the Detroit Lions receiver, right?
I mean that's the thing. Like, but you can't manage out of fear, and I say that at every level, not even like sports, like at life, like at your job, Buck, at my job.
Yep.
Like I can't manage out of fear, right? You know what I mean? And I say it all the time. It comes wintertime, we drive around job site to job site, and there's some snow on the ground. We can't like just stop the guys from driving to the job sites, right? You still got to get the work done. Can't manage out of fear. Yes, there's a lot of what ifs. What if this happens? What if that happens? But you can't do that. You have to manage to get better. You have to manage to make sure your team is ready once week 1 comes. And the way to manage that they get ready is through game action.
Exactly. So Combs, you pretty much nailed it right there on the like on the head here, guys. So guys, this is Burning Question Thursday here. So if you guys have any questions that you want to ask us, drop them in the chat here, and we will get to them as the time permits here. We still got a little rundown to do, but Combs, we know you are a huge hockey guy, right? Like hockey is probably your first love, right? So Joey asked, what do you think about what the Blackhawks are doing right now? Let's mix a little hockey in there.
I might have to put more alcohol in my cup for this one. What I think about what the Blackhawks are doing, I can probably put best.
First, for a non-hockey guy that has no idea what is happening with the Blackhawks right now?
They're basically just disbanding their entire franchise. I mean, they've sold off. I mean, they've traded players like Alex DeBrincat, who was their lead scorer next to Patrick Kane last year. And they basically traded him for a bag of hockey pucks. Like they got nothing in return for one of the best scorers in the game right now. And they're probably going to be trading Patrick Kane. He wants out of town now. They're probably going to be trading Jonathan Taves. Basically, their entire nucleus of the team is going to be gone. And Hawks fans are going to be forced to watch a terrible product. And look, the Hawks at least had that dynasty run, right? From 2010 to 2015, they won 3 Stanley Cups. They were one of the best teams in the sport. Even when they weren't winning cups, they were in the conference championships. They were so exciting to watch. And after years and years and years of battling through really bad hockey teams in this city, we finally got what we deserved in this city, which was a run of a dynasty. It's really, other than the Bulls in the 90s, it's the only other dynasty we've ever had in this city. to see it being run the way that it's being run right now is disheartening, right? Like, I kind of get it, but I would like to see Patrick Kane play the rest of his years as a Blackhawk. I mean, I would love to see him be a Blackhawk his entire career, but having him go to a team that's going to be a contender, which the Blackhawks clearly are not going to be for maybe even the remainder of his career, kind of shows respect to Patrick Kane. Hey, we're going to let you go at least compete for a cup because we're not going to be prepared to do that for the foreseeable future. It sucks for me for being a Blackhawks fan. It sucks for the fan base. It sucks for the city. And I said this the other night, is that the ownership in this town of all the major sports teams, not just the Blackhawks, but the Cubs, the White Sox, the Bulls, the Bears, they treat this city like it's a small market city. And it is absolutely not. There is no reason why the Blackhawks should be trying to cut salary. They fill that stadium even when they're not that good. And they make money hand over fist. They put butts in the seats, and we go out there and support our teams. And what do they do with the dollars that we spend on our team? They put it in their pockets, and they don't return the investment. That's what bugs me the most about what the Blackhawks are doing, is because they're not showing a return on investment. Now, I'm not saying, a retooling or whatever, but I mean, look at the players that we have traded. Artemi Panarin, who was on a really good New York Rangers team last year, who I thought had a chance to play for the Stanley Cup. Alex DeBrincat, you could put in there. We've let, goalie upon goalie, we've let them walk. It is mind-boggling to see what the Blackhawks have done over the last, say, 6 years to this franchise and letting young players walk, but not getting anything in return. You can trade players. You can trade talented players. That's fine. But you've got to get something in return for that. And they're just not seeing that, and that's what bugs me about what the Blackhawks are doing.
So basically, Combs, you are upset because the owners are making money and putting money in their pocket, and trying to rebuild their team. So you're getting upset by that?
No.
That's exactly what it sounds like, Combsy.
No, this is what you do best, Buck. You take some words and you're just like, oh, this is what he said. No, that's not what I said, Buck. They don't return on the investment, is what I'm saying. They make $3 billion and then spend $200,000 on players.
Sounds like baseball to me. What's the difference?
Right, but that's what I'm saying. It's not a return on. There's no way the Chicago Cubs should have the 16th or 17th highest payroll in baseball out of 30 teams. They should be in the top 5 every single year because that's how much money they make. The Chicago White Sox, there's no reason why a contending team that has some visible holes because they have like 6 DHs in their lineup couldn't go out and get a top player like Juan Soto at the trade deadline to make a push. Didn't add any starting pitching to make a push. Didn't add any relief pitching to make a push because they don't spend money. They don't want to spend the money to get the good players, to get the players in that are needed to make a run. There's no reason why the Cubs should be rebuilding for the second time in less than 12 years.
The Royals are.
The Royals are also a small market team.
We beat the Cubs this year.
Kansas City is a small market city. That's a small market team. Chicago is not a small market. We've got more people in the city of Chicago, not just the state of Illinois, but the city of Chicago than Kansas City does and the state of Missouri does. Like, that's a small market team. Chicago is not a small market city. Chicago, New York, LA. Look at what the Dodgers have done in LA, right? Every single year, the Dodgers go out and they spend money in free agency. They have the best farm system. They do what it takes to be a contender and to win. Do they always win the World Series? No. Do I love it when they don't win the World Series because I hate that fan base? Yes, I do. But they are always contending. No matter what, they build the farm system, and then they bring in good players, and then they retool the farm system. That's what a good organization does. The Boston Red Sox run their system the same way. right? The New York Yankees run their system the same way. There's no reason why the fans in Chicago, and I'm not saying never have to go through a rebuild, but there's no reason why the Chicago Cubs should be rebuilding twice. And actually, it's in the last 10 years because our last rebuild was in 2012 that we had to suffer through 3 straight years of 100-loss seasons before we finally got good. But we were willing to take that because we had Theo Epstein and we knew what was coming. Now we don't even know what the hell they're doing with the team. Not trading guys at the deadline, hanging on to guys that could have brought you in, more stuff into your farm system, could have brought you major league ready talent. And now you're going to let them go as free agents and you're going to get draft picks. Well, draft picks in Major League Baseball don't come around for another 5 to 6 years when they're major league ready. So you're not even getting major league ready talent. So you're telling me for the next 5 to 6 years, we're going to suck. And that is not a pill that we are ready to handle here in Chicago. And we should never have to handle that in Chicago. It should never be a thing.
Well, just the one bright thing, Combs, is you can hang on to 2016 for the next 27 years, and you'll be
I will hang out on to 2016 until the day I die because I'm going to have to because they'll never do it again.
Right. So speaking of hanging on, the Cincinnati Bengals did not hang on in the Super Bowl as they ultimately lost the Super Bowl. But, Combs, the Cincinnati Bengals have plans to move Ja'Marr Chase all over the field to give him the best matchups coming up into the 2022 season here. How big is this for Ja'Marr Chase and the Cincinnati Bengals?
I don't know. I love Ja'Marr Chase. I really do. I like what they're doing in Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati is going to be good for a long time. I know you said you think that they're going to take a step back this year. When you've got players like this in Ja'Marr Chase, I think you kind of want to protect them from themselves, right? Is he an athlete? Is he a supreme athlete? Absolutely. But do you want him out there doing things that, maybe he shouldn't be doing, maybe that don't deal with his position? No, I don't. I mean, to me, I would tone it down a little bit. I would keep him where he's best at, and where he's best at is catching footballs and gaining yards.
Yeah. When I first heard that they are going to be moving Ja'Marr Chase all over the field, the first thing that came to my mind was Deebo Samuel 2.0, like putting him in the backfield, doing all these reverses, and then you are going to basically get this guy hurt because Ja'Marr Chase is no Deebo Samuel. Yes, I think they have the same athletic ability, but Deebo Samuel is built like a shit brick house. Have you seen this guy with his shirt his shirt off? His abs have 6-pack abs. Like, he is just built different. Also, I want to clarify that when I say the Bengals will take a step back, aka they will not make the Super Bowl, that is taking a step back. So don't try to put words in my mouth there, Mr. Beastie Combs.
I don't put anything in your mouth, except off camera. But so I don't put any words in your mouth. That is what you do. That is what you do best. I don't have to put words in your mouth. You make yourself sound stupid.
Well, I do have a stutter, so that doesn't help, right? So, but what is the point of trying to make Ja'Marr Chase into a player that he isn't? What did he do so well last year versus the Kansas City Chiefs when he put up like 400 yards and like 5 touchdowns? He literally ran past them. Like, that's all he did. He said, "Hold my beer. Look how fast I can run, and look how far Joe Burrow can throw the ball." Why not do that again?
Yeah, I don't know. What they did last year worked. I am a big fan of if it's not broke, don't fix it. So I don't know why they're trying to do anything different. I don't understand what the end game is here. Maybe there's just some scheme to it. Again, I mean, I know you brought up Deebo Samuel, but we were just talking about Taysom Hill out in New Orleans, and this is what that reeks of to me, is just a gimmick guy, and that's not what you have here. You don't have a gimmick guy. You've got one of the top 5 wide receivers in the NFL, and I don't know why you would play around with that.
Yeah, it just seems stupid to me. It seems like an injury waiting to happen. There are 3 spots where the Bengals cannot afford injury, and that is Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and anybody on the offensive line. So pretty much anybody on the offensive line, they cannot afford to get injured.
Hold on. We need to go to the Iowa State Fair. For $10 at the Iowa State Fair, they have this thing called the Finisher. It's a large baked potato.
Okay.
It's stuffed with chopped brisket, smoked pulled pork, Rib Shack's signature bacon brisket mac and cheese, gourmet barbecue sour cream, and garlic rub butter.
For $10?
For $10.
Dude, I can't even get 3 tacos for $10.
That's what I'm saying. We need to go to the Iowa State Fair.
All right, guys, let's end the show. I'll be there in 8 hours, Combs.
Yeah, I'm in. Let's do this.
So, actually, I got
I
a couple
if they
of things.
deliver
Oh,
to Chicago
or Louisville. That'd be cool too.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this
Might be cold for
question.
them.
Did you watch the Pirates baseball game a couple days ago?
Let me ask you this question: has anybody watched a Pirates baseball game in 10 years?
No. But I saw the
All right,
highlights.
so then there's your answer.
Did you see the guy slide into third base and his iPhone popped out of his pocket?
Oh, you know what? I saw that come up on a highlight.
Is that
on
not
ESPN.
illegal to have a phone in the dugout?
No, it's not illegal. Guys actually have phones in the dugouts all the time. I have a problem with it though, because to me, I'm like, why do you have a phone in your pocket? Like, you're in the game, you're playing the game. Why is there a phone in your pocket?
Right.
Like that. I would have a huge problem with that. I think it's. What is he doing with the phone? Like, what are you texting your wife while you're at first base? Like, hey,
He's
honey,
on Tinder.
having a good day. I'll be home in about 2 hours. Can you make that thing I like? Can you wear that little skirt I like? Like what is he doing on the phone?
Yeah. Well, because I know in the NFL you cannot have it on you or even on during like halftime or like anything like just like either. Now I understand in baseball, you're playing what 3-4 hours and you're playing 6 days a week, 7 days a week. So it like that is your time with your family, right? Is like on your phone. But can you like not step away for 3 hours and just like right. To me that kind of shows disrespect to your other teammates. Like, hey, like Snapchat's
well, not only that,
more
but the
important.
other team, like, how do I know you're not using, like, how do I know that everybody doesn't have a phone in their pocket? And when I see the signs when I'm standing on second base, I don't have something in my ear because, I mean, smartphones nowadays, all you got to do is tap, your AirPod and be like, hey, call Kenny at home plate. And the phone rings, so now he knows it's a fastball coming because his phone is buzzing in his pocket.
Or
it's like basically like the Houston Astros all over again.
Yeah, or let's take it one step further. If you want to go down that hole, the catchers and the pitchers, and I think the pitching coach have those electronic devices now in their hat.
Yeah.
What is to say they're not tapping into that either?
Right, and that's, I mean, if I'm the other team, I'm questioning it. I'm not happy about it. Quite frankly, I'm plunking him in his next at bat. I'm throwing at his head.
Well, and it's funny because like the third base coach
I'm joking. Do not throw at somebody's head. It's not okay.
Just throw at his shoulder. He'll get it.
Yeah.
But like the third base coach was pissed off. He's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, man?" And then the umpires are like, haha, like you dropped your phone like it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, he points right at it like, hey, stupid. Your phone just fell out.
Yeah, so it makes me wonder like how many times this has happened before, but we just never caught it on camera.
What I'd like to know, like, was it the first inning and maybe he like came out to go stretch in something and he put it in his back pocket and then just forgot that it was in there?
Possibility.
Or was this like the seventh inning of the game and you know,
I'm not for sure when it was.
Yeah. That's what I'm gonna have to look into that and see when it was, because I mean that could be a possibility. I've done that, you know, of course I on a small level, but I've done it on the softball field.
Right.
Put my phone in my pocket or my keys in my back pocket after I get out of the truck and walk over to the field, and then I stretch and throw the ball around, and then I go and I slide, and all of a sudden I get a freaking key up my ass crack, like you know, you know, and then you remind yourself, oh hey, stupid, you got something in your back pocket, you know, but. If it's like the seventh inning of a game, I can't see a scenario where that would be okay in your own clubhouse or in the opposing clubhouse.
Yeah, or just in general. Yeah. So speaking of being okay, this is a perfect transition into the big news of the NFL, and that is the Roger Goodell versus NFL versus Deshaun Watson versus the public opinion case that is happening right now. Obviously, Roger Goodell Combs says there is enough evidence out there to have a full-year ban for Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, through the grapevine, through his lawyer, through his public person and Twitter and whatever else, said he would accept a 8-game suspension with a $5 million fine. First things first, to me, Combs, by Deshaun Watson saying that he would take an 8-game suspension, is that passively, aggressively admitting that you've done something wrong?
That was my first reaction to it too. I'm like, oh, Deshaun, what are you doing? But at the same time, I think that Deshaun's lawyers probably came to him and said, hey, look, the NFL usually doesn't lose these things. So why don't we make them an offer? And look, again, you heard my side of the Deshaun Watson thing. I think that this is a guy who has had no real evidence brought against him other than accusations. And he now has not only missed 17 games. I mean, you know, granted, he sat out last year and he still got paid for it or whatever the case is. But 17 games and now 6 or 8 or even another 17, I just think is a lot for a guy who's had nothing but accusations, like no proof, no nothing. And then, you know, like I'm arguing with this guy on Facebook again, like he's, you know, worked for ESPN. He's now doing a radio show out in Tampa Bay. And I'm talking to him and he's just like, keeps coming back at me saying that, you know, the court of public opinion, you know, it doesn't matter if he did it or not. And I'm like, to me, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, what do you mean it doesn't matter? Why does somebody's opinion matter more than the truth? And he's like, well, if you did this in your job, would you be able to keep your job? And I'm like, I mean, I would like to think that if I get accused of something, my boss would allow me the opportunity to defend myself. And then if you know, we go to a trial or whatever, or we go to a grand jury, or even if it doesn't even go that far, even if he's just investigating it and he can't find any real evidence other than accusations, that he's not going to be like, well, you know what, you've done a great job for us, but hey, we're going to have to let you go because somebody said you did something bad, even though you say you didn't, and we have no real evidence to suggest that you did. And that's where I have the problem with the suspension. But Deshaun Watson willing to plead this down and be like, look, I know you want a full year. They only gave me 6 games. What do I get? Because to me, if I'm Deshaun Watson, I'm going the other way. I'm saying, look, I'll settle at 4 games. I mean, the stuff that I was accused of, you keep saying is heinous and in the court of public opinion, it looks really bad. I had a female judge in which I had no defense tell me I was only worth 6 games.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, you know, we could put it up against other suspensions. You put it up against, you know, Ray Lewis again, 0 games, body in the back of his trunk. You know, then you look at a similar case, right? Ben Roethlisberger, 2 rape allegations, proof against him, 4 games.
Yep.
Right. And then, I'm told that doesn't matter because now they're going to put their foot down and they're going to show that now the integrity of the game is this or is that. No, your integrity of the game was lost when you said that all of this other stuff was okay, but now you're going to come down on a guy that has no evidence against him. That to me doesn't suggest integrity of the game. That to me suggests that you feel like you could do whatever you want whenever you want. And the NFL has proved that time and time again. They suspended Terrell Pryor for getting tattoos in college.
Yeah, in college, which just makes zero sense to me. But
you know what I mean?
Yeah, so
but Adrian Peterson could go and beat his 3-year-old kid bloody in the genitalia and not get suspended.
Well, and win a league MVP that particular year as well. But with that being said, Combs, like our guys here, Wayne G and Soup Boss, had a very healthy discussion in one of our posts. I believe it was Wednesday. I think they had a very healthy discussion, and like I didn't know. Quite understand how a grand jury worked, but I didn't know that basically the state or whoever is prosecuting basically presents all of the evidence and there's no defense lawyers there at all. They're just simply saying this is what he did, this is the evidence, and out of 30 cases there wasn't one concrete, just a little bit of concrete proof of like evidence in two grand juries there. So when Deshaun Watson basically started to pay off these people, it wasn't because of he was guilty. It was because of the criminal aspect of it. It was because the criminal charge. Basically, from what Wayne G said, is you can be criminally charged and basically not be guilty, but then you will still have to pay fees and fines and like all that other stuff. So this was basically kind of like, hey, let's just settle just out of court and we're good to go. Wipe your hands of it and move on. Now, on the other side of that coin, when we see this, say, hey, I will take 8 games. I am paying these people off. And then my lawyer comes out and says, happy endings aren't against the law. This tells me, Combs, that Deshaun Watson is starting to realize, hey, maybe I did do something wrong. Maybe there is some type of guilt here. And he is trying to basically cover it up before it gets too out of hand.
Where Deshaun Watson was wrong was he was in his hotel room alone with 27 different call girls. That's basically what this tells me. Is like, hey, look, I know it looks bad because I had call girls in my room. Now they're saying they were massage therapists and are accusing me of other stuff, but I was wrong. It's like when a husband, gets caught with a hooker in a raid, right? He goes back to his wife. He's like, look, I get it. I was with a hooker, I'm sorry. But I didn't do the other things that they're trying to say that I did. You know what I mean? Like that's basically what this is. And I don't know. I have a huge problem with it just being the court of public opinion, because just like all of these people, it's the same people that want to ban Deshaun Watson from the league are the same people that want to say, oh, well, this has to happen and this has to happen and listen to me and I have the right to protest. Well, you're right. You do have the right to protest. I fought for that right, but I also fought for Deshaun Watson's right to be innocent until proven guilty.
Facts.
And he has not been proven guilty yet. And there hasn't even really been a shred of evidence to suggest anything else.
How about
this? I don't understand why people have such a problem with looking at it from that side of the fence. Why it's almost like they are afraid to be wrong about it. Like they're afraid, like I can't defend Deshaun Watson because if I'm wrong, then I'm going to look like a horrible person. But
yeah,
imagine if you're wrong about Deshaun Watson. you're willing to ruin this guy's career over false accusations if they're false accusations?
Right. Well,
that's okay to you?
And then on the flip side of the coin, let's take those same people that you are talking about. Let's take it down this real rabbit hole, and let's talk about this vid. These are the same people that said everybody needs to get a vaccine because it is the right thing to do, yada yada yada. And then these are the same people saying my body, my choice. Well, where was that energy when the COVID was around? Also, on the of everything that you are saying here, Combs, people I think are afraid to defend Deshaun Watson in the positive light because I think that makes them think that they are a bad person. Like they think that by supporting them, they are coming out and saying like they want to support sexual assault, support rape, support happy endings. That's not it. I support justice system. I support innocent until proven guilty. I support saying everything doesn't add up. Basically what happened, Deshaun Watson wanted out of Houston because the ownership sucks, and then all of a sudden, wow, 26 rape accusations happen. That doesn't add up. We've been talking about this stuff not adding up for a couple years now, it seems like.
And if it was what they're accusing him of doing, why are they having such a hard time showing proof? Why are they having such a hard time? If these were legitimate businesswomen who were legitimate massage therapists, why are they having such a hard time? Why didn't they press criminal charges?
Exactly.
Why is this only staying in a civil matter? Yes, there's enough, whatever to be in a civil matter, but hey, I could take you to court right now, Tori, who I hear you in the chat. I could take you to civil court right now just and say you did something. That's enough to take you to a civil court. It's just hearsay, but then I have to prove it. And they've had 2 grand juries with no defense for Deshaun Watson in these grand juries. 27 cases say, yeah, there's not really anything there. You're not proving anything to us.
Yeah. It's just, it just, ever since the first, I think it came out with like 7 or 8 women, like all at the same time. It just stunk. Something never seemed right about it, right? So yeah, and yes, Joey, you are correct. The National Massage Therapist Convention is in Cleveland this year.
Is that a coincidence that Deshaun Watson chose Cleveland?
No, you guys are making nothing out of nothing, Mr. Flat Earthers. No, but yeah, but it's just like ever since this came out, it just reeked. Like something is just not right. And
I will say, if it was the National Call Girl Convention, I would say then we might have something.
So Drew says he better have all those civil cases taken care of before the accepts a position. Otherwise, they can get him again. He has paid every one of those civil suits except for I think like one, and because the last girl was just being a complete bitch. Like, oh, I need more money.
And people will sit there and tell you, oh, well, he paid these off. Why would he pay him off if he's not guilty? Well, because he's a rich athlete who's 25 years old, has a huge career ahead of him, and a whole lot more money to make. I'll tell you a little bit of background about me, right? So I'm a carpenter, and I owned my own business in Vermont, and I got taken to court over something where I purchased some material for a customer. I couldn't do the job because I had a death in the family. They wanted the job done when I was flying home for a funeral. So I took the material back. I dropped it off on their porch. I handed them the receipts. And then they decided to accuse me of stealing all of their material. Now, I had a witness with me who helped me take the materials back. I had all of the receipts, copies of the receipts for everything. But it was 3 years later when they decided to take me back to court, and I was living halfway across the country by then. And it would have cost me over $4,000 for flight back, for hotel rooms, for all of the other stuff that I have to do to be away for weeks, plus all the money I'm gonna be losing from work in that time frame. Or it would have cost me $2,400 to pay these people and just get it to go away.
it was more beneficial and it was cheaper for me to pay them to get it to go away than it was for me to actually go through all of the bullcrap I was going to have to go through, even though I knew I was innocent, even though I had proof that I was innocent. It was just cheaper for me to make that go away.
Yeah.
So that's where Deshaun Watson's at. It's cheaper for him to just pay these girls off. He pays them off. It's pennies on the dollar to him.
$1 million
So to make it go away and it's never a problem again, and they have to sign disclosures stating that they're not going to, come after him again, or they're not going to, defame him or whatever the case is. That's why you pay those girls off. And that's where he's at right now. It's not an admission of guilt. I personally don't believe that these are all massage therapists. I mean, I'm clear on my stance. I believe that the Houston Texans knew that Deshaun Watson had a fetish. He had a fetish for call girls. And that's what he wanted to do. And the Houston Texans were like, cool. If that's what it takes to make you happy, we're in. Here's a huge contract. We'll pay for this too. Okay? And then Deshaun Watson was like, I really don't like the way you're running this organization. I want out. They're like, oh, really? Watch this. Hey, girls.
Hold my beer.
Let's go.
Instead of holding my cock,
that's
hold
what
my
I feel
beer.
Happened. And that's not like I'm not. People will sit there and you're going to hear like we'll have people that'll come at us in the chat, or we'll have people that'll come at us afterwards, be like, "Oh, you're victim shaming now." Blah 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 blah. How do you know? You have as much proof that I'm victim shaming. You have as much proof by protecting them as I do for protecting Deshaun Watson. Right. But I'm using my logic and my common sense. You're using your logic and your common sense, and we're at an impasse. It's okay to disagree. I could disagree with Tori. I could disagree with Wyatt. I could disagree with you. I could disagree with anybody out there, and I still respect them because that's their opinion. That's what they believe. Okay, cool. That's what you believe. That's what you believe. But until something is proven, I'm not going to change my opinion of it.
So let me ask you this question before we wrap up the show tonight. I'm getting my allergies are starting to kick back up, so I'm gonna start sneezing like a crazy man here. But by Deshaun Watson saying that he would take the 8 games take a 8 game suspension with a $5 million fine, are you okay with that?
Yeah, because it's just like paying the girls off, right? He's weighing the all right, well, if I take 8 games and $5 million, it's better than taking 17 again and however many million that would be. Like he's weighing his options, and he's trying to get the cheaper way out of it just to move on with his life and get this ordeal pushed behind him. Because again, until you show me proof that he's guilty, I believe he's innocent, because I believe in innocent until proven guilty.
Okay, so let me ask you this one more time. Put the number on it. If Deshaun Watson were to miss 8 games for the Cleveland Browns this year, how many games do they win?
Well, that would give them 9 games with them. So depending on the schedule, like I'd have to look at it. I mean, I'll say that they're a playoff team.
With
They're
Deshaun
still a
Watson,
playoff
even
team, but
missing
yeah,
8
because
games.
I think they can survive and win 4 of those, and then even if they win, even in the last 9, if they go 6-3 with Deshaun Watson, I mean that's 10 wins.
What about Kareem Hunt? Does he have to be on the team?
He's trying to get out, right?
Yeah, he wants.
Yeah,
traded.
I'm fine. They got Nick Chubb. They've got weapons there. You can let Kareem Hunt walk. I'm fine with that. I mean, either that or you just piss him off, let him beat his wife, and he'll walk anyway.
Jesus, God. All right, guys, that is going to be it for the Man Hour. We are done for this week. I have a football game tomorrow, first game of the season. Excited about that. I'll be back Monday. Combs will be back on Tuesday. Wednesday, we got fantasy football Wednesdays, and Combs will be back in on Thursday. So, guys, tune in on Monday. We're going to talk some little preseason football. If preseason football is happening right now, Combs. Right now, I was looking at the NFL channel. Football games are happening.
Yeah, I knew they were on, but Field of Dreams game is on, so that's what I'm watching.
I also got the Royals on as well, so I'm pretty excited about that.
There you go.
I
talked to Michelle into allowing me to put another TV here in the basement, so I could have 2 big screens running with 2 different channels on. So I'm pumped about that.
Actually, what you need to do is get 3, so you can have two smaller big screens and then 1 big screen.
She said, and I quote, that once we buy a bigger house, which is coming soon, once we buy a bigger house, I can have the entire basement, and if I want to, I can put up as many TVs as I want.
All right, there you go. You guys heard it there first. Sundays, Combs will be buying NFL Sunday Ticket. We're all invited.
There's going to be 15 screens, baby. One game on each screen.
Let's do it. Combs is out.
Man Hour Nation, rise up.
See you Monday.